Hello everybody and welcome back to the English shooting live stream. I hope you've all had a fantastic week. Of course, the live stream, we talk about all of the past week's shooting news and topics. We open up conversation and discussion, so please get involved. Please use that chat box and join in the conversation. If you have any questions or topics you want to bring up and anything you think I can help with, then please do ask away. It's been an interesting week, let's say for UK firearms. Obviously some very tragic stories, some very sort of odd stories in some ways, which we will be getting into a bit later. But yeah, of course, don't forget to hit that like button. It does make a huge difference to the channel and to me personally. It makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. And don't be scared to subscribe as well if you're not already. We do this every single week, and guess what? No word of a lie. Actually sat down earlier in this week and filmed a video. I know, right? It's almost like this is a YouTube channel. I'm hoping to have that out early next week. Funnily enough, and coincidentally, it's about how we're going to see areas of the laws change here within the UK. I think we talked about it on a live stream previously about mini rifle exemption or miniature rifle ranges, high muzzle energy rifles, air guns, and ammunition. But actually had some time to sit down and do a lot of research on that, and it's every day's a school day. Let's just say that. So finally, an actual bona fide video coming out. But yes, the first topic is not a particularly nice topic. They're going to get maybe a little more light-hearted through the live stream this evening, including it always does this, like it always changes this. Like if anybody's ever used OBS, I need tuition. We are going to be taking a quick look at this. Funnily enough, Otto messaged me just before the stream, and this isn't the Battle Arms development catalogue. This isn't just any catalogue. This is the UK Battle Arms development catalogue. There's a little bit of a mix-up in the lineup. You all know that I'm a big fan of this gun, and so are a lot of people on the competition circuit. This is now, it's got a lot of details in it about what models, variants, and also pricing. I have been chasing Otto for a very long time for pricing because it's been holding up being able to do the review of what I've been using for the past year competitively. And I don't think I'm even done. Have I done a review of the gun that Connors uses? Don't know. But anyway, I've got pricing now, so I can actually give an informed review and consumer advice. Buy it. Anyway, so it's not all doom and gloom this evening. Of course, there's been some very high-profile stories going around within the UK at the moment. More recently, and you know, someone being killed in sort of any context is fairly sad, like innocent people, let's just say. And the news that has come out about this girl, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you've been living under a rock, because it's been absolutely everywhere. Girl 9 dies and 2 adults wounded in Liverpool shooting. Completely in, like, the circumstances around this are just absolutely horrific. No, this isn't some 9-year-old sort of girl gang member, like complete innocent bystander. And there's also been another tragic case of a 28-year-old shot dead in a mistaken identity case, lost her brother to the same fate. Like what are the chances of that? Like, what the family must be going through, I have absolutely no idea. So I think it's 7 years ago, her brother Lewis was killed in a case of mistaken identity, and now the sister 7 years on has just been killed and shot. And all of these are, you know, hence why we're talking about them, all of these are involving firearms. As far as we're aware at this point, all illegal firearms, and again, as far as I'm aware at this point, handguns. Yeah, you know, maybe they should think about banning those. But inevitably, what we've seen come out since, I'm going to see if I can find the right article here. Yeah, BBC is already on it. Our UK gun crimes on the rise again. Our shootings on the rise in the UK. Firearms offences explained in five charts amid Liverpool gun violence. So it hasn't taken sort of the mainstream media and national press to jump on this sort of narrative straight away. You know, it's a very selfish point of view, because at the end of the day, there are far more important things sort of going on. There are families, you know, there are parents that have lost children here. There are families that have lost family members, and that's ultimately what's important. And I think, you know, I'll admit it, it's a pretty selfish point of view for me to sit here and go, you know, well, when are they going to attack us? When are they going to attack the lawful gun owners, the lawful shooters? Because they have a habit of doing that. Something incredibly tragic happens, usually regardless of with legal firearms or illegal firearms. It's usually the legal firearms owners that end up getting the shitty stick of it. And, you know, there might be some stuff that I've said a million times, but I'm going to end up saying it various aspects of that this evening. But yeah, this was the article that I found the most interesting. It's got a lot of stats and figures. When you break it down, the thing is that there isn't a lot of firearm offences in the UK, right? And I think for a very long time, the average per year, well, we can actually, they've got, again, this is why I like this chart. So these are all, I believe, Office for National Statistics, includes crossbows. What? That's not a firearm. What is it titled? Shooting killings. Well, I suppose you shoot somebody with a crossbow. Annual homicides where apparent method of killing was shooting. Okay, so these might be a little bit skewed. These aren't firearms, and of course, within the UK, crossbows are not, they're not registered. They're not restricted in any way. You just need to be over the age of 18. Excludes where the weapon was used as a blunt instrument to kill. That's going to be an interesting case. So yeah, like looking at the stats of it, I mean, what happened in 2011? That is a spike, but actually quite relevant in terms of answering. Well, first answering, is there, you know, is gun crime on the rise? And of course, secondly, are we going to see changes to our legislation in this? But you can see that the numbers are fairly low in proportion, right? They're hovering around, you know, and again, this includes crossbows, so I don't know. I thought the average was around 20, so I don't know how much this is being skewed by those crossbows. But looking at that, you could probably safely say the average is around 30 deaths per year, or 30 murders a year, or homicides. That's like, I think I found the statistic once that there were more children that drowned in swimming pools, or more children, you know, more under the age of 18, or more, maybe even under teenagers, drown each year in the UK than people were killed with guns. So these numbers are exceedingly low, bearing in mind we're a population of what, like 60 odd million. So for 30 deaths, the chances of being killed by a gun here in the UK are pretty much non-existent. The issue, weird way of putting it, but the issue with the number of homicides being so low is that it doesn't take that much of a spike to really increase the figures. You know, you jump, you know, like we saw, and again, why I think it's quite relevant, in 2011, I think it was, you know, that's double most years. So, you know, that gives the press usually a nice soundbite of, you know, gun crime or homicides with firearms have increased 100%. And they always like to, you know, you saw this during COVID, right? They would use percentages when it suited them. They would use, you know, raw numbers when it suited them. They would use differentials when it suited them. Whatever number sounds scary or scarier, that's the one that they're going to use. So, you know, with this, if you go out there for the BBC, instead of this, it's if they put up there, so far there have been 40 deaths due to guns in the UK, or 40 homicides or murders with guns, where it's normally 30. That doesn't have the the sellability, does it? So I think people are probably jumping to a very quick conclusion here. Like, yes, we've had a lot of horrific things happen in a very short amount of time, but I think what is capturing people more are the circumstances of it. If this was a gang on gang, well, it pretty much was, but if it was gang members being killed, if it was criminals being killed, it wouldn't have the sort of coverage that it does. But when it's 9-year-old girls, that sort of really strikes, and it really has captured it. Backed off of no, that's the battle arms. Backed off of this 28-year-old losing their life. So the media are really, it's selling the papers at the moment. That's why they're giving it so much sort of exposure. I haven't actually checked. It's round about this time that the gun control network usually pipes up. I think I actually saw they have been doing interviews. They've been doing interviews this week about what's going on, and of course, it's never. Yes, there can sometimes be a general public outcry or pressure for the government to do something and to bring in further restrictions. That's sort of what we saw with the likes of Dunblane. But it's usually spearheaded by the likes of the Gun Control Network. For those of you that don't know, there's a website here, the Gun Control Network. It was formed after Dunblane. It's run by somebody called, I think it's Jill Marshall Andrews, something like that. And basically, she formed it for political gain, right? Her husband was an MP, and she's sort of been milking that ever since. Not an expert at all when it comes to firearms, not officiated in it in any way, shape or form. She just obviously doesn't like guns. So they've got their July, so they haven't got I can't see anything new about any campaigns or anything like that they're doing. Again, it's almost like a bit of a hobby. It's not a professional organization, and this is what really annoys me when they get them on to speak. It's like, well, from what authority are you speaking from here? Like, you're effectively an amateur hobbyist anti-gunner. Like, what credentials do you actually have in any way, shape or form with firearms? But obviously, they get the most attention, and then when they start getting attention and they're like, look, something has to happen, that is when the government starts to look into it. As soon as there's a little bit of public support or public push, then they start to look at further restrictions, or they look at what they can change. And this is why I get, again, it sounds like a broken record, but I get so annoyed about the likes of the offensive weapons bill, and I think estimated like tens of millions of pounds that ended up costing, right? And you just need to go to the NCA website, right, to see what the source of gun crime is, right? Right? How firearms enter the criminal market, right? That's not how. This isn't specific to just how they're smuggled into the UK. How firearms in general enter the criminal market. Right, smuggled from Europe. Right, that's the issue. The real issue here is that these criminals have access to these guns, and that they are coming in from outside. We do have some of the strictest gun laws in the world. It means that the cases of lawfully held firearms falling into criminals' hands is exceedingly low. And when you also see, I think, is this one? Yeah. Journey of a gun from Eastern Europe to UK streets where deadly weapons can be hired for just £100. Right? It's all about the smuggling, right? And then you think back to the likes of the offensive weapons bill and the millions, if not tens of millions of pounds that were spent on confiscating firearms that had never been used in crime, that there was no evidence to suggest that they were even desirable from criminals, because they can go and rent them for just £100. And we're not talking about some butchered semi-auto here. We're talking about, full auto. We're talking about handguns. We're talking about the stuff that they actually really want. What would have happened and it's not just the money, but the time and effort that was spent by the likes of the NCA, from the likes of Neighbours, from the police in general and firearms licensing and all of the other organisations involved, the time, focus and money that was spent on that, like, if they hadn't have done that and they had focused that on the real problem, which is these illegal guns being smuggled in, could they have stopped the gun that shot that 9-year-old from making it into the UK? Right? Was she shot with a Mars? Was she shot with a lever release? No. She was most likely, it's not confirmed, but most likely shot with a gun that was smuggled in from Eastern Europe. Right? So focus your time and attention on that, not on guns that have never been used in crime and have no desirability to criminals whatsoever. Focus on the real issue, and you might actually start to reduce the problem. Of course, I know the problem with all of that is a very logical way to look at it. And it doesn't, more border force controls and personnel and stuff like that. That's just not as sexy as, we're restricting guns even further. And, the ridiculous thing, it will be interesting to see the full investigation I don't know if they've actually found the weapon that was used, but if it is found, if they do release any details about it, what gun it was, where it originated from, and where the ammunition came from. Because let's not forget, again, I just filmed the fucking video on it, they're bringing in more restrictions around ammunition in an attempt to stop exactly this. It doesn't really seem like they have a problem getting the ammunition in. There's again, the sort of footer of this here. Experts say buying an illegal firearm in the UK is relatively easy in spite of tough gun laws, with smuggling chains for arms and ammunition stretching all of the way to Eastern Europe. And so they're literally buying in or smuggling in handguns and full autos and this, that and the other stuff that is heavily restricted here in the UK, and complete ammunition. All the time, our police and our government and Home Office are thinking about licensing component parts of ammunition. And it's like the criminals don't care. They have absolutely no fucks to give if it's doubly, triply, quadruply, you had the powder, powders and primers you already require a certificate to be able to buy. But what they're talking about is actually, controlling the heads, putting controls on bullet heads and cases as well. And it all comes under sort of criminal intent. There's a lot of that in the video that will be released. And it's like, they're just sort of sat there worrying about the minutiaries of restricting everything. Meanwhile, they're shipping in pallets of guns and ammunition, which these new laws are going to have absolutely no effect in stopping whatsoever. The high muzzle energy, the further restrictions and security requirements that are going to come in for high muzzle energy rifles, the likes of 50 BMG. Is that going to stop these street criminals, these gang members? Are they running around with 50 cals at the moment? Is that really an issue? A miniature rifle range. Now, I'm not saying that all of the ideas or all of the changes that are coming in under the firearm safety consultation are necessarily bad. I've talked about the miniature rifle range exemption previously, and it is a sort of a gaping hole and shortcut past all of our certification and firearms law. But again, they're just like all this, it's so obvious what's going on over here, and they're like, no, we're going to focus on over here. So do I think we're going to see further restrictions? We're really going to have to see how this pans out. and where the narrative goes. Now, likening it back to Plymouth, which of course everyone was well aware that that was with a licensed firearms holder, that was with a legally held firearm. It became very apparent very quickly that the police had made various mistakes in not taking away those guns and certificates, and it sort of brought into question why we have certificates at all if people like that were able to get one and maintain one. But the media very quickly almost turned on the police, and it was like the media saw it for what it was, that it was ultimately failings of the police, and that was the narrative that they went with. So there's been all of the further clarifications or guidance that have come in since were nothing to do with that. They hailed that as here's a quick fix, but it wasn't. We know that stuff was coming in from from a mile away. It had nothing to do with the Plymouth shootings, and we could see that it sort of panned out sort of how it should have, in a way. The media got it right for once, but let's see how this goes, right? Let's see how loud the gun control network gets. At the end of the day, these were, as far as we are aware, committed with handguns. It's if anything, the gun control network should be incredibly quiet, because we all know the last time we saw a sudden increase in gun crime and firearm offences and firearm murders was after they confiscated all of the handguns, right? And it's like, once again, the complete wrong thing was done to actually try and prevent crime. And ultimately, there has to be a level of, like, people are, humans are in a way a horrible and disgusting species. They do horrible things to one another, right? And it really doesn't matter what is available to people. People will always find ways to hurt one another and kill one another, right? And I'm not saying that there's necessarily has to be this acceptable loss, but I think you have to say, like, all the time there are 60 million people living on an island, every now and then they're going to lose it with each other. And again, that's really not what happened in these cases. So I think there has to be a baseline of, like, this is as low as we can go. And at the moment, when you have on average around 20-30 firearm deaths a year, is that the baseline? Like, can that actually get any lower? Bearing in mind that the majority of those are done with legal firearms, the majority of those being handguns. So yeah, I don't think this whole sort of scaremongering of, oh, things have gone out of control, there's gun crime is exploding here in the UK. That's really not what's going on when you drill in. We've had a fair amount of very high profile deaths due to firearms in the UK. There's a lot of buzz about it at the moment. And, I think hopefully this is just in a way, a statistical blip, and that things are going to balance out. Like we've seen that, like in that graph in 2011, massive blip, like effectively in a statistical anomaly, and statistical outlier. There we go. I can pronounce that word. And they and hopefully things will settle down. Not forgetting, and the irony of this, not forgetting that a few months ago we did a whole live stream about them basically hailing that they had solved gun crime in London, and that there hadn't been a death in London due to a gun like at all that year or that month. And things, it's sort of obviously bounced back, regrettably. And that's what happens with statistics. You never have, it's, over a long period of time, you will see some level or some correlation, but you are going to get months that are statistically below average. You're going to get months that are way higher statistically. So yeah, I have to see where the narrative goes overall. It will be very interesting to watch. At the moment, nobody's calling for further restrictions. Nobody's really asking for, certainly, lawful firearms owners to be impeded further and any further than they already are. But all it takes, this would be a really, really bad time for anything further to happen, because then it snowballs. If people are locked onto this at the moment, they're focused on it. We'll have to see ultimately where it goes. But let me know what you think about it. Put your comments and your opinions and all that in the comment section below. We are going to have I think a little bit more look at the statistics of it, and just again crunch the numbers. Like, it's a very, in a way, callous way of looking at it, just putting everything down to numbers, but the numbers very rarely lie. Statistics can lie depending on how they're presented, but like, anyway. Happy, but handguns are illegal. Yeah, of course. Like, again, it's like, it's one of these things. Like, look, can we have our handguns back now? Can the law-abiding shooters have the handguns back now? Because like we've had them taken away from us for what, 25 years? Is that right? 25? Yeah, around 25 years. And we're still having 9-year-olds killed by illegal handguns. So that worked, didn't it? Like, so I think we've well established, I think the statistics will show that banning handguns has done fuck all to reduce crime. So can we have them back? Now would be a really bad time, I think, to campaign for handguns to be returned. Don't think that's going to get much public support at the moment. Michael Parrott, got your FAC through. Congratulations. Now the real fun starts. You get to go and empty your bank account, max out your credit cards, and fill up those safes. Appreciate your advice a few weeks back. Terrible about that poor girl. I'm always happy to help. I may not always be the quickest at getting back to people, but I do try my hardest. But I'm always happy to help people along their journey to get their FACs. I hope you've liked. I hope you've subscribed. I mean, you probably have, but that's probably more of a reminder to everybody else. If you are enjoying the stream, hit that like button. It's free. It's right there, and it really does help us grow. David Kiddle, straight there on the fence. Did anybody go to the NRSA Bisley Festival bollocks? I'm guessing did you go there and that's why you're calling it bollocks, or didn't you go there, that's why you're calling it bollocks? I would have actually gone. I think even Magload would have probably had a stall there, but we were busy. Like, I looked at the dates and the dates didn't work for us, unfortunately. Michael Parrott, gun laws / restrictions don't affect those who don't follow the rules. Exactly, and that's why I think the likes of this ammunition, that was part of the schooling that I had doing that research. I'm still not 100% sure. Like, I literally spent a good half an hour trying to find in the law where it stipulates you have to have a certificate to buy powder. And as far as I understand, so primers, it's black and white, right? So primers were restricted under the VCRA Act, I believe. So you need to show a firearm or shotgun certificate. There are other sort of exemptions and other ways, like, for example, don't ask why I've got this. I don't even really know myself, other than scaring the shit out of people where we used to work. When your office is based on a 1,000-acre sporting estate, you can get away with toys like this. And this was genuinely one of those moments. I can't remember. I think we went to go and buy a high capper. High capper. Actually, well, funny enough, I can't touch it because YouTube will lose its shit. But my Action Air comp gun now, and it was one of those. I just saw it. I don't know what it is, but I know I'm going to buy it. So, these are not restricted at all. Neither are... Oh, come on, yeah. This is always a pain to get out. So these, it is royally stuck. I haven't used this in a very long time. No, that's I need a tool or something. Anyway, so this will take blanks, and it will also take shotgun primers, both of which I would have been able to buy without a firearm or shotgun certificate. So there is methods of still buying primers, but you need to show a good defense for it. Generally, it just I think the reason I like that is because it's like this. It's got some mass to it, and it's all machined aluminium, and I like things like that, and it just screws together, and it's a bit cool. And then occasionally you can scare the shit out of somebody with it, which is all good fun and games. So yeah, you can still go and buy primers, go and buy blanks and stuff like that, even without a certificate. But I couldn't find it was actually during the firearms safety consultation where they state, the Home Office states, you need to present a certificate. Powder is already controlled. All I could ascertain was that there's nothing within the UK law that stipulates it, but there is an EU law, which of course, yes, I know we're not in the EU anymore, but pretty much all of these things got copy and pasted, that stipulates restrictions around powder, and that's why for like black powder you need an explosive certificate, but for smokeless powder you don't. But and because you require an explosive certificate for black powder, you don't require to produce a firearm or shotgun certificate. But because with smokeless you don't need a explosive certificate, you do need to show a well, again, it's not, I don't think it's actually that you need to present a firearm or shotgun certificate, but they need I think it is the gun shop or the person selling it to you needs to keep a record of your certificate. It was all very weird. I ended up very, very confused, and Connors and I ended up having a good half an hour chat backwards and forth about it, and it was like, yes, this is definitely it. No, I'm not sure anymore. We're just flip-flopping. Anyway, my original point was the ridiculousness of you need to present a certificate to buy powder, you need to present a certificate to buy primers, but you can but now they're looking at, you have to produce a certificate for cases and bullet heads. It's like, well, sorry, you can't make a complete round of ammunition missing two of the vital key components, right? So surely powder and primers enough, like that is enough, right? You don't need to make anything more illegal. And again, it's not going to do anything because people can go and buy blank rounds. They can go and buy primers under other exemptions. Like, okay, you've got the cases, but then, what? Like, are they really going to start going after people because they collect cases? Right? Am I going to have to start locking my case mementos away in the safe now? Like, what's that going to achieve? Meanwhile, Shady Bob is on his boat, back and forth across the channel, like nobody's business, by bringing in complete guns and ammunition. So, yeah, that's... Anyway. Ban swimming. Yes, you'd save more people, wouldn't you? You genuinely would. Cyclists. We should ban cyclists. Right? How many people are killed? How many cyclists killed in the UK 2021? It's obviously a very popular search. In 2020, no, it's .gov, official source. Love me some source. Reported road casualty in Great Britain. Pedal cyclist fact sheet. Where is it? Key findings. So there's screw death by guns. The death by cyclists is going up. Serious injury, pedal traffic grew by 96%. Although really, that sort of shows that things are getting safer, right? Pedal cycle traffic grew by 96%, but fatalities increased only 5%. Okay. Averaged over the period 2015 to 2020, an average of 2 pedal cyclists died and 83 were seriously injured per week. So on average, you're talking 104 people a year are killed on average by because they ride a bike, right? So 100 on average 104, and what we said it was an average of 30. So I mean, I'm going to do some BBC statistics right here. Cycling is 3 times more dangerous than guns. Ban cycling. You literally save more people. Although then you have to look at, car fatalities and all of that, because if they're not on a bike, then they're probably in a car. But you've got 4 doors and, crash impact and everything. It's got to be safer. You can go faster. Anyway, cycling is more dangerous than guns. It kills more people. So surely we should ban cycling. That's it. But then you would create a cycling black market. There would be, you know what? I've thought about this. The NCA would have this covered, right? Because I don't know. I've read this a million times. I can't remember if they. There we go. The access point from Eastern Europe into the UK for illegally smuggled firearms is the Netherlands, right? So if we ban cycling and we ban bikes, the Netherlands then they are pretty well set to cover 2 quite big black markets right there. I mean, they love their bikes, right? They're very well geared. That they won't have to go to Eastern Europe anymore. They will literally, it will be the Netherlands' greatest export in terms of black market. Of course, I am being absolutely ridiculous, but so do our lawmakers sometimes when they tackle gun crime and gun violence. So 2 can play at that game, can't they? What can they say about this? A criminal shot someone with an illegal firearm. Oh, sorry. Are you saying that the gun control network can't twist an illegal firearm being used to an illegal firearm that they had the biggest hand in making illegal in the first place? You're saying that they can't? Oh, just wait. Just wait for it. They will find some ridiculous, convoluted argument of how banning shotguns would have saved that 9-year-old. Like you fucking wait for it. Again, it's like this is the logic. This is what's going on. This is what we need to do, and they're over there just smoking whatever, coming up with all these crazy ideas. Daniel is swinging that hammer. Jesus, those hammer fatalities are going up. Don't try it. Someone needs to make that a patch. Daniel holding a hammer, like, just don't try me. He will. Jesus. The thing is, unfortunately, the other admin, I don't believe it. Daniel, you'd gone up to Betty Buys, and of course, because of the past of this channel, I definitely need a mod at all times in the chat. And Paul very kindly volunteered. I don't think he understood what he was volunteering for, but he is also another mod. He hasn't reached super mod status. Don't worry, Daniel, you are still king of the mods. And of course, I am very appreciative of all the hard work and stress you go through trying to mediate this channel. Lol. And yeah, but Paul decided to fuck off to Reading Festival this weekend. So yeah, I mean, I gave him the greatest privilege there could be within UK shooting sports, which is being a mod of this channel. With great power comes great revocations. And and then he fucks over. He repays me by making my mod by fucking off to Reading. What I want now is him to literally to tune in, just supporting / founding better pro-gun organisations than that defend gun owners. Surely it can't be that hard, right? Yeah. So, of course, we don't really have any organisations that really, I think, compared to other countries across the world and other other organizations across the world that really do fight our corner. Firstly, our organizations are very reactive. Sorry, they're reactive. They're not very reactive or quickly reactive. They react to things at some point in time, just, after having a tea and a biscuit and sitting there for a while. Like look at the lead consultation, right? No one's released any guidance on that yet. Like the NRA said that they were going to release something in June or July. Yeah, that was a month or two ago now, guys. Like they're very, very reactive. I think all they mustered for the offensive weapons bill and the banning of Mars and lever release was a strongly worded letter of their disapproval. Yes, there's very British, strongly worded letter. Didn't work. The 50 cal association that actually rallied, and well, I say rallied, but they rallied around MPs, were very vocal, very engaging, gave a lot of cast iron evidence and dispelled a lot of the misinformation that was being spouted through those consultations. That worked, right? BASC in some cases can be quickly reactive, and certainly BASC does a lot more in terms of protecting this sport than the likes of the NRA does. And of course, the NRA, everyone goes, oh, NRA, like the US NRA. Yeah, I know the NRA of the USA isn't in everybody's good books, and I'm sure a lot of people think that they could do a lot better, but they are miles ahead politically of what our NRA does. Our NRA is basically a shooting club, right? That's really all they are. The NRA is busily the National Shooting Centre, and the fact that they have such a wide spread over the shooting community, they are the representative when it comes to target sports in the UK. It's like I don't think they've really earned it. So in terms of the organisations that are about, or the big ones, I don't think they're doing anywhere near enough. They're certainly not being anywhere near proactive enough. In terms of starting a new organisation, it's something that I've thought about doing many times. It's about time and resources, not just money or time, but there's lots of aspects to it. Really, what it would take is, I think, a cooperative of, let's just say, fairly passionate, wealthy individuals that straight off the bat are going to put a lot of money into a pot to kickstart an organization. We've seen some sort of, say, grassroots organizations pop up here and there. The likes of like Firearms UK. They do a lot and are very political, but again, that's not it's not funded or staffed in the way like the NRA is or like BASC is. So they might be growing from the ground up, but they've got a long way to catch up to the likes of BASC and the NRA and this, that and the other, or Countryside Alliance, to be able to have that seat at the table. And yeah, if I could just think of the perfect recipe of how to start an organization like that, secure funding, get the staff, get the premises, and go, I would hit the button. If of course, I think anybody would. This is sort of stupid to say, but if there was a button to press, I'd do it. I'd throw myself at it. But it's about how do you actually start being effective? I think in terms of everyone doing their part. Like for me, I've obviously found my way of what I think of doing something to help the community, publicizing it, demystifying it, and giving guides. So I don't think it's necessarily just about organizations. There's I think social media, as a collective of law-abiding citizens, and lawful shooters, using social media together to dispel, to publicize your own shooting, to advertise it to your own friends. I think that nowadays is probably far more effective than the likes of getting lobbyists and things like that. So, it's said it for a very long time. It's all about numbers, right? The number one goal should be getting more people shooting, getting more people owning firearms in the UK lawfully. That's how we end up getting a political clout. Not, that's why America, right? You sort of don't need an organization in America, right? The people are the organization. When you have a country of, 100 million gun owners and hundreds of millions of lawfully held firearm, like, you are the collective, right? You are the organization. The government doesn't need to bat off the NRA or this, that, and the other, right? They do help. They apply pressure in the right place and get things moving, but that's where the political clout is. Voters, right? If a third or a half of your country are owning or doing what you want to restrict further or ban, right, that's a very easy way to lose votes. And ultimately, that's what politicians don't, that's their kryptonite, right? Losing their votes. So at the moment, within the UK, there's 600,000 certificate holders within the UK. Like, it's less than 1% of the population. The politicians aren't worried about that, right? Where they can gain more votes than they can lose. And that's what needs to change, not the organization. Like, maybe that's different. Isn't if there was a new organization created, isn't necessarily to be political or lobbyist, but solely focused on promoting the sport and introducing people to the sport. I think that would have a far bigger effect overall. But at least they're doing something. Well, yeah, that's it. In terms of their political career, right? They just need to be seen to be doing something. Like, no one really ends up, double checking. Apart from us, right? Apart from us, nobody ever goes back 25 years and go, did it work? At the time, it was, of course it is. It makes absolute perfect sense it's going to work. Let's ban all handguns. Let's ban all semi-automatic rifles. Yay, we've saved so many things. Let's pat ourselves on the back. They're not looking back 25 years later to see if it had any effect, right? It's, they don't care about the follow-up. Timbo, a strongly worded letter. It's Neville Chamberlain all over again. Heavy, can't have more FAC holders without effective and efficient licensing departments. I'm going to go out there on a limb here and say that you currently have an application in. Yes, and again, that's another, why I followed that so closely, because it's a very, well, on that note, actually, perfect segue. So it's almost like what the agenda is tonight, Happy. It's very hard to get people into the sport and for us to grow and, to combat the ever attack that firearms owners have when firearms licensing aren't doing what it says on the tin, right? And I'm not talking about Plymouth. I'm talking about, I had my interview for my firearm and shotgun certificate over 3 months ago now. When was it? Let's double check. So I had my interview on April the 26th. So 1, 2, 3. No, is that? No, 4. Yeah, 4. I'm very tired. Is that 4 months? Yes. I think it is 4 months. So it's coming up to 4 months. Like, as of tomorrow, I think it is. It will be 4 months. Right? I waited 6 months in total the first time I applied for a firearm certificate. Right? And it was I think I waited 4 months or so for the interview, and then it was 2 months after that I got the certificate. Yeah, things are not good. Right? And it's hurting. We've talked about this on the stream. It really is hurting. It's killing this sport. Have you ever fancied doing a finish or Lynx brutality style match? Absolutely, I have. Actually, one of Team Magload, Jenny, she does a lot of. I'll bring up one of the videos. It shouldn't be too hard to find. Yeah, so Jenny is a Finnish shooter. Actually knows bloke on the range and Ian McCullum, is that his name? Forgotten Weapons. So they're actually out there quite a lot, and she ends up spending quite a bit of time with him doing a lot of filming. Let me just find the video. So it wouldn't actually, I really don't have that much of an excuse not to go and do it, because, you know, obviously we're in regular contact, being one of their sponsors, and you know, I'm sure if I said, look, can you let me know the next time there's one on, could go out there and here we go. Well, this is her boot camp. So, well, is there actually brutality boot camp? Anyway, this is, let me bring it up before I get demonetized or whatever. So yeah, I would absolutely love to, because it looks absolutely insane. Like this, I don't think actually is it. This is them training for it. I believe Jenny is also in the reserves out there. Oh no, I haven't actually transitioned it. There we go. I'm watching the video, you guys aren't. Let's see if is that Jenny? Come on. Yes, so that's Jenny. That's one of Team Magload, and she's a bit of a kick-ass person, really. She does all the cool shit, and also is a very talented IPSC shooter. Obviously, that's more why we. Oh, was that? Did I just peek? Sorry, just bear with me a second. Let's slow this down. Enhance. Oh yes, definitely need to enhance. Like, why would it default to 360 playback speed? Here we go. Right. This is when it isn't what I think it is. Come on. Just stand by, guys. Just talk amongst yourself for a second. Think I can see it. We'll just watch Jenny in slow-mo for a minute until she turns. Yeah, so maybe I should. I may even get the chance to hang out with Forgotten Weapons as well, which obviously I wouldn't turn down. Let's see. Oh, no. Yes, it is. That's bastards. Oh, that was a much better shot. 100%. Yeah, if you needed proof, I'm not making this up. Oh, turn again. I keep on seeing it in the preview. Anyway, it's one of our patches. She's wearing one of our patches. That makes me excited. All right, just don't judge. But anyway, if you guys don't know what Finnish brutality is, let's get this at full speed again. I just spent far too long trying to find our own patch. But anyway, that is a genuine Magload patch that you can buy and own yourself, free with any Velcro competition belt or stiffy belt. So obviously they're going over like basic techniques and stuff like that. Do they do any sort of running and gunning? No, it's just basic techniques. Let's see if I can find like an actual Finnish brutality match. No, that's the PCC Nationals. Here we go. So I mean, it straight away it looks brutal, right? Oh, they're actually breaking it down. So if you want to go and see it, you can go to Bloke on the Range. Like, they get you going in trenches, like ice cold water, this, that, and the other. It's it doesn't. It looks horrendously fun watching it in a video. I bet you the moment you get into it, the moment you're plunging, I mean, you can see there's fucking snow on the ground, right? That at this point, nope, I'm going home. I am going home. Fuck this. I am wet. I am cold. I'm going home. But yeah, it does look something different. It's not. It's sort of like CSR mixed with IPSC, mixed with a bit of 3-gun, mixed with, I don't know, warfare. Like, yeah, you get to, you know, and it is a competition. As far as I'm aware, it is a full blown competition. You aren't literally just doing it for the fun of it. Is there any more stages? Yeah, so it's, you know, climbing in and out of vehicles. Is that part of the stage? Anyway, it looks cool. Yeah, I would genuinely absolutely love to go out and do it sometime. Watching it from here in the warm comfort of my my pajama bottoms and slippers, I think I'd like to go and do it. It would be interesting because you would see me change my mind very quickly. I can assure you. Now, I did see a number of you asking for... Oh, no, wait. We had the perfect segue, and then I forgot. Actually, talking about firearms licensing and not granting and being effective and efficient, out of nowhere, really. So, you know, you would have thought that things were going to get better. Like, why are things still getting worse? This is the Cumbria Constabulary Firearms Licensing Unit. Suspension of grant applications, and this was announced, as you can see, on the 10th of August. The Firearms Licensing Unit is experiencing excessive delays in the processing of application. As a result, we have had to take the difficult decision to cease accepting firearm and shotgun grant applications with immediate effect. Like, but this is what we've talked about before, and what Bask made very clear in terms of firearms licensing collapsing. Right, this is why people are like they're close to collapse. Now, okay, you know, COVID was a bit of a holiday for them, and this, that, and the other. They've come back to massive backlogs, but then in the mix of Plymouth and having to go back and do all these additional checks to current certificate holders, the absolute at the very least, they need to be able to continue processing renewals, right? And that's the point at which firearms licensing could collapse, is that if the renewals aren't being processed in a timely manner, that's when the effectiveness of firearms licensing in general just doesn't exist anymore. So that's why they've shut down. That's what I can imagine they've shut down. Maybe they want another holiday again, don't know. But they've obviously got to the point where they're getting so behind on the renewals, they could deem that there is a risk to the public, so they need to stop the inflow. But then saying that, like, allowing somebody to submit an application to you doesn't take any manpower, right? Like, oh, a new application has come in. Anyway, like, why not just let them stack up, right? You know, tell people, be completely blunt and honest with them. Like, we are nowhere near to processing applications at the moment, but if you want, you know, you could be looking at a 6-12 month wait, but, you know, at least get your name in the pile, right? Or, you know, take Hampshire's approach and cancel people's applications that they've put in. I'm sure Heppy can relate. So, yeah, not good at all. At least they have maintained their backlog. Yeah, so not good. And again, how are we meant to be growing the sport and getting new people into the sport all the time that you aren't able to go and actually, like, apply for the firearms licensing that you need? And back onto this, it's a little bit more ridiculous bad news in a way. I think this is something that I think this councillor deserves everything that's coming to him. But this, I think, is a bit of a mountain out of a molehill situation. So this this counsellor decided that it would be a good idea to make an announcement holding, I think it was a Facebook post, Ogmore by Sea, tonight for a quick swim and make sure there wasn't any English people trying to cross the channel. Like, it's obviously a joke, right? I think we can all see that it's a joke. But unfortunately in the UK, firearms are no joking matter. Anything, any joke made whilst in the vicinity of a firearm will be taken very, very seriously. Now, you know, added to it, he's holding an air gun, for fuck's sake. Like, it's not it's not like he genuinely expects to repel invaders from the, you know, it's obviously a joke. But as, you know, he technically is a law-abiding gun owner, but FAC holders, right, firearm certificate holders and shotgun certificate holders, like, you wouldn't get away with this. So certainly somebody with the responsibility of a counsellor, why should they? So Plaid Cymru counsellor John Scriven has added border enforcement to his list of job responsibilities alongside bin collection and potholes. In a since deleted post on Facebook, Scriven was seen brandishing a firearm. I mean, legally, yes, it is a firearm. Air guns are legally firearms here in the UK, but it's an air gun. Or as the Home Office like to call it, an air weapon. Well, in this context, for once, it is genuinely an air weapon. It is being used as it is being threatened to be used as a weapon. That's the, you know, this is the, if a tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it. Oh no, it's intent, isn't it? In UK law, it's intent. Like, is a weapon before it's used as a weapon or after it's used as a weapon? But then I think the actual, like, dictionary definition of weapon, a thing designed or used for inflicting bodily harm or physical damage. So if something isn't designed to inflict bodily harm or physical damage, then it only becomes a weapon once it has been used. So actually, in this case, that air gun, that air rifle, is not. I mean, it looks like a very, almost like sporterized in some aspect. It's, although it hasn't even got a scope. But anyway, it's designed to be, you know, a sporting weapon. Fuck, I said it myself. God, like seriously, the reason that's in my head, the whole thing about air weapons, is this bloody firearm safety consultation. Let me just bring up I've got it saved because I need to get my screenshots from my sources. Where is it? Impact 7 government response. Here we go. Like, the amount of times they use air weapon. And I hate the phrase, because the majority of air guns that, well, I've owned or you know, I come into contact with on a regular basis are not weapons. They're not designed to hurt anybody, and they will I hope none of them will hurt anybody. But this is it. This is the response of the firearm safety consultation: air weapons, and it's just all the way through the response: air weapon, air weapon, air weapon, air weapon. So yeah, spending 2 hours filming that video, I've now got the phrase air weapon in my head. Just anyway, so that as that air rifle was not intended to hurt anybody or cause them, you know, physical, violent harm, whatever, it's not a weapon, and it hasn't been used as one because he's threatened. So anyway, I mean, you could threaten to, you know, smash somebody over the head with a lampshade. Does that make the lampshade a weapon? No, because you haven't done it yet. Shortly after Guido called Plaid Cymru press office. Scrivens posted a hasty apology to Facebook for any offence caused. I'd like to apologise. So update, Plaid Cymru have confirmed that Scriven has been suspended in pending investigation. Has heard that Gwent police have opened an investigation into hate crimes. Can I just say from a bona fide, genuine Englishman, born and bred within England, proud of it. Don't do him for hate crimes, please. Please, it's not. I'm not offended. As an Englishman, I do not find any offence. The firearm offences, on the other hand, if could you imagine a shotgun or firearm certificate holder going out and doing that? Sort of, maybe they've changed me. Maybe I've finally been brainwashed. But on one hand, who really gives a fuck? Did he actually go and shoot somebody? Right? Did he actually threaten somebody in the real world, or did he just make a poorly, a poor attempt at a joke? Right? Of course, I think at the very least, send a policeman round. Are you actually at the beaches at night looking to shoot Englishmen making it over the channel? No, it was a joke. Okay, so you have no intention of hurting anybody with that air gun? No. Okay then, all right. Leave it at that. Right, that I think is potentially the level of police response that should happen. Right, this is the sort of unfortunate thing. So yes, in some ways, I think it was just a bad joke. Really, did anyone die? Did anybody get hurt? Go and tick some boxes and move on. But hate crime, okay, right? He's Welsh and he's saying about shooting Brits, or shooting Englishmen, or the English. But no one. No, seriously, if you're the sort of person that sees that kind of post and think, oh, I'm not going out the house today, some crazy Welshman with an air rifle, Dan, is going to shoot me if I go anywhere near the Severn Bridge. If you're one of those people, I think you're already struggling through life enough, and the last thing you need to worry about is Daniel with an air rifle. You should be more worried about him bursting into your room in the late evening, topless, making very weird bear noises. That should be investigated as a hate crime, because I fucking hated it. Plaid Cymru are a wild bunch. He could have burst a dinghy with that. I wonder if that would have been a genuine defense. No, I wasn't going to shoot them. I was going to pop their dinghy. Maybe. No, I'm not even going to say it. You all know what I was going to say. I'm not saying it. I am not. Oh, bad thoughts. Think of kittens. Go on. There we go. Passed. Managed to not say anything stupid. But genuinely, that is whilst yes, it's a joke and this, that and the other. We all know, shining example, as firearms owners in any capacity, you have to be incredibly careful what you put out online. The police at the moment are looking for any reason to take away a certificate, any reason to put you on their naughty boy list, and you need to be whiter than white. Is that right? Is that wrong? That's the way it is. Right? It's no point getting upset or angry about it. That's the way it is. You have to be very mindful about what you say and put out there online. And it's not just myself. There are a number of people that I'm aware that have got into, from lightly hot water to severely hot water with the police from what they have posted out online. Whilst, in some ways, online social media is not the real world. Doesn't matter if you made a silly post, but it's very much, social media is very much within the real world. And the police, trust me, take what you say online very, very seriously. So yeah, I think he's been a bit of a dick. I think we can probably put it, he you know, especially being a counsellor, like, he's in a position of responsibility, he's in a position to set example. Yeah, I'm gonna file on this as you've been a bit of a dick, and your punishment should only be up to being a dick level. That sounds, I mean, that could work. Don't offend the easily offended. Their weak wills, minds, and bleating has implications for the sensible. Very well put. I like that. So it's, yeah, that was, I think, one of the more silly ones. And this one, I mean, again, in the context of being in that situation, yeah, this is definitely a lot more than being a bit of a dick, right? There's the story, man 71 arrested after drone pilot threatened with an air gun in Cirencester. See, they're calling it an air gun, not an air weapon. Interesting, because he didn't actually shoot the guy, so again, it hadn't become a weapon at that point. Now, somebody comes out of their house, right? And I know, like, I've been down the range before where people have gone, I could always tell the difference between and okay, sorry, just rewind a second. They might have called it an air, oh no, was it this one? No, I think it was the Daily Mail article. Says a lot. No, this one, no, the Daily Mail called it an air rifle. I mean, at least they didn't call it an air weapon, but they called it an air rifle. Hello. Definitely, like, I bet you the person that wrote that article, and they was, oh, it's an air pistol, and they were like, what? I've never heard of an air pistol. You mean air rifle? No, I mean air pistol. No, I'm going to put air rifle. Yeah, you go and do that, because that's obviously a fucking air rifle. But anyway, air gun. You imagine, you know, just walking down the street, and that's what you suddenly see. Somebody coming at you, pointing that. Are you going to take the risk that, are you going to be, can you from that see if that is a real gun or not? Right? In the heat of the moment, split second decision, you know, that's, like, we've seen it before. I don't know, I think this extends to the UK, but I think it's definitely in the US. Whereas if you go into a post office with your fingers in your jacket, you know, and you make, you know, gun shapes, and you go, I've got a gun, I'm going, this is a robbery, you will be charged with the same, I think, the same certainly level of offence as if you'd have actually gone in there with a real gun. I don't know, again, I think that's more American than it is the UK, but that is, you know, this is why, right? That's why we have those sorts of laws, whilst you might not actually be armed, if you have given the impression you are armed, you know, and that's why it might sound ridiculous throwing the book at somebody for stupidly using an air pistol, I think, putting it lightly. But in that moment, I think the majority of people out there would think that they are having a real firearm pointing at them, like a live firearm being pointed at them. And in that situation, like even an air pistol, like even somebody threatening you with you know it's an air pistol, you don't still want to be shot with one of those, right? So yeah, so this guy, basically the story, it was an estate agent that was flying his all registered, licensed, doing a survey of a house or getting pictures, and this guy came out. Oh yeah, the suspect claimed he'd been trying to shoot the drone using the weapon. I mean, I'm like, again, trying to take out a drone with an air pistol, like, you know, if you can, fair play, but that's, you know, it's like trying to stop a car with a catapult. Like, maybe you need something, you know, more like an air rifle, or again, I don't think he's ever going to get a firearm certificate, but yeah, maybe we should test it. Maybe we should see if air pistols are the solution to nuisance drones. At this point, it was not clear whether it was a live or a replica. 33-year-old man from Swindon told the angry resident that he was filming an unrelated property for the estate agent, but the suspect continued to act aggressively. The drone pilot, 33... Oh, he got video. I didn't see there was a video. Oh, okay. So here we go. We'll do our theory test. We will do our, like, anyone in the UK know exactly what I'm talking about. Your hazard perception test, right? At what point would you recognise that it's an air pistol? Like, play it with me now. At what point? At what point? I'm still not there. At this point, I'm like, I'm praying. Maybe there, actually. Funny enough, because that was the screenshot we were looking at earlier. I know this sounds silly, but the weight doesn't look right. The way it flicks. Or there. That's probably when. And I think he's actually probably at that point showing him that it's an air pistol. So definitely then. Trying to figure out what that is. Can anyone make out what that is? I mean, it's fucking annoying that's in the way. Goodbye. But I don't want to play the audio. And why is that there? Like, just go away. Yeah, can anyone make out what that is? But yeah, maybe there. I mean, I can't even decide what it is. So, but I mean, it's like the 92FS, right? The Umarex Beretta 92FS. It's very hard to tell apart from the real thing, right? Yes, you've got the split in the slide where it shoots forward, and you put the carousel, the ammunition, but yeah, I think it even looks more real than that. It's a G10BB. Let's have a look at that. G10BB. G10BB pistol. Images. I think we have a winner. Oh, so it's not. It is literally. I mean, it's still, I think, classed an air pistol because it shoots metal BBs. But yeah, that's it. Model G10 177. Oh, it says 177 or 4mm BB. So can it do pellets? Don't know. G10 20 shot. Oh, I think it is only pellets or BBs. Sorry, it's only BBs it can do. So yeah, I mean, perhaps if I had maybe better knowledge of BB guns, it is quite distinctive. It's down the side there, like, you know, if you manage to get a glimpse from the side, but up until that point that he's, where did it go? Was it this one? Yeah, up until that point, no. And when he's flicking it about, you can just, the weight doesn't look right in it. But that, you know, where was the moment? Yeah, you know, again, that's like similar screenshot we're looking at before. There is just no way. Like, you wouldn't risk it. You wouldn't know for certain enough to risk potentially defending yourself. You would just be compliant, wouldn't you? I want your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle. I don't own a motorcycle. Well, get me one. So, the suspect strong. Oh, here we go. So, can we listen to it? I don't think it's going to be copyrighted, is it? Let's bring it up. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear it. I don't know if this actually works. You guys might not be able to hear it. Let's. Again, I took 3 shots at it. Oh, I don't know. Can you guys hear that? Let me put the mic next to it. Oh no, that's buggering the mic.
Don't point a drone at me.
Don't. Sorry, you stood there with a fucking handgun, or what he probably thinks is a handgun, and he's saying, "Don't shoot that drone at me," or "Don't point that drone." Oh, get that assault drone away from me.
Yeah, it was me, sir. It was me.
I was shooting at it.
Well, that's illegal.
Yeah, well, don't fly over my
No,
house.
it's totally illegal for me to fly over your house,
I
sir.
don't care. I'm gonna
Please,
fire it.
sir.
If you bring it
Please,
over my
sir.
house.
One minute, I'm gonna turn the mic up because I don't think you guys can hear it that well. Let's go again.
Yeah, it was me, sir.
Sorry?
It was me.
I was shooting at it.
Well, that's illegal.
Yeah, well, don't fly over my
No,
house.
it's totally illegal for me to fly over your house,
I
sir.
don't care. I'm gonna
Please,
fire it.
sir.
If you bring it
Please,
over my
sir.
house, I will fire at it. You do not come over and take pictures of this hovering above our
I was
house.
taking pictures of this
You were
house.
right over our garden.
Okay.
If you do it again,
Yeah.
I will fire at it again. I took 3 shots
Don't
at
point
it
that
and I
gun at
missed.
me.
Don't point a
Point that
drone
gun
at
at
me. Don't.
Oh wow. Okay then. That's. I really don't get people. I'm gonna put my mic back. Go get it all. Can you hear me? Testing. Don't. Please don't point that gun at me. Don't point your drone at me. I'd rather have a drone pointed at me any day of the week than a gun. Like, jeez. And then he fights the guy. Like, there's like multiple levels of stupidity there. Like, first of all, shooting at a drone. No. In America, if you didn't know, drones are considered aircraft. I don't know if the ones under 120 grams, 250 grams are, or 249 grams anyway. But certainly the drone that I used to have before I crashed it, RRP, the Phantom 3 was considered an aircraft, legally considered an aircraft. And it wasn't just an offence to shoot one. It was a genuine act of terrorism to shoot at a drone or to down a drone out in the US. Things might have changed because this was a number of years ago, but genuine act of terrorism if you shoot down a drone, because actually legally there's no difference. Of course there is a big difference, but in the technicalities of the law there was no difference to shooting down a drone than it was shooting down like a passenger plane, so like a commercial airline. So yes, don't shoot drones unless they're your drone and you're on your own public property. Then shoot as many as you want. Don't shoot other people's drones without their permission. Always make sure that as well your pellet is staying inside the boundary of your property. If you're trying to shoot at a drone that is over somebody else's property, your pellet's going out there. That is another offence. I don't know exactly what offence, if there is one in the UK about specifically shooting a drone, but there's going to be one, right? We just know. This is the UK. There's law for everything. Pellet leaving the boundary of your property, like that's it. That's enough to get you in serious hot water. And then you have the brains, the absolutely flawless idea to go and speak to the guy still holding on to the gun. Like, already bad enough, right? But if you'd have just gone out there with just himself, all right, dressed, just himself. I mean, yeah, what's worth, going out with a gun or just absolutely butt naked? Well, get your drone away from me. Like, that's, yeah, you'd leave the drone, wouldn't you? You'd definitely start running. But yeah, go out and speak to the guy, right? And even tell him, I've just been trying to shoot it down. Well, it's still flying. That would have been fine. But to go out there with the gun in that sort of manner, that's flawless idea fucking number 3 in that case. And then to attack the guy. Like, there is no way on earth he is not being prosecuted or charged with, threatening with a firearm. That is, like, just, I think there's a good, so what we've got shooting at the drone, we've got pellets leaving your property, we've got technically firearm in a public place. You've got intimidation with a firearm, threatening with a firearm, that sort of stuff. I can't remember, or harassment. There's a specific phrase for it. And then he's assaulted the guy. That's a good 5 offences right there. A good 5 charges. Like, this is a sort of thing that you could easily get a shitload of shitload of time in jail for. Like, what have they said? Armed officers were deployed. He prodded his victim with the weapon. Oh, wow. Oh, fuck this. Don't point. The audio becomes unclear, and as he prodded the victim with the weapon, and the camera begins moving before. Let me bring this up so you can read it with me. The audio becomes unclear. Victim with the weapon, and the camera begins moving before the video is cut. When he prodded his victim with the weapon, he was able to disarm him, grabbing the gun and kicking it away. The suspect then fled the scene in his car. Armed officers were deployed and arrested a 71-year-old man from Cirencester when he returned to the location. Like, bearing in mind that he probably didn't know whether that was a real, probably thought it was a real gun, right? And the balls, the cojones, to actually try and disarm him. Like, fair play, right? That is going to take some balls. And then, he ran away like a little bitch. He was held on suspicion of possessing a firearm with the intent to cause fear. There we go. There's the official line for it. The officers also seized an air rifle following the incident. Or maybe that's why the Daily Mail got confused. Maybe because the guy already had the BB gun. They also took an air rifle as well. Gloucestershire police say the suspect has since been released under investigation. Police were called up. Armed officers attended. Someone was arrested on suspicion of a firearm with intent to cause fear. He has been released under investigation while inquiries continue. I'm surprised it is just the one offence, but yeah, certainly in the current climate, I'd be very surprised if he dodges prison time on that. That's absolutely for sure. So, oh yes, I did tease you, didn't I? I did tease you with the battle arms, and now we've completely forgotten. Let's have a little look. There will be more about this very, very soon. So yes, of course, Otto at Cotswold Classic Arms is the UK importer and distributor for battle arm development rifles. Arguably the best ARs on the market within the UK. They are incredibly sexy. So much so that Magload has not one but two, the lightweight and the ambi. But things have been shaken up. Now, I've been pleading with Otto. I was like, please give me a spec sheet, give me prices, because I get asked all the time, how much are they, what's the specs, this, that and the other. And the specs have been mixed up a little bit. There's now, they've made a few tweaks. So anyway, sexy. Wait, look at it. Tell me you don't want one. That one, not as pretty. I'll be honest. Doesn't do it for me. Yeah. Oh, I like this. I like the skeletonized. That's quite nice. Anyway, so there is going to be like a base battle arms. So bearing in mind that I usually tell people that battle arms start from like close to about £2,000, and it does really, you can obviously spec your gun into oblivion, so you need to be mindful about any additionals, but I think, is this the cheapest one? Oh no, this is the cheapest one, $12.50. Is there another one? No, then they start to get pricier. So the cheapest one is the Workhorse Rimfire Carbine. This is what you see. So it's all bona fide battle arms, genuine battle arms, and as you can see, it's 2.2. It has the 1522 magazine. Should have an extension on it though. So it's a forged mil spec semi-auto with the CMMG conversion, standard stuff, handguard 9.5, barrel inch 12-inch. So I think the difference between the two, this is the same gun, but this is the 12-inch, and I think they have a 16-inch. So this one, is that, yeah, there we go, 17.125. So 100 quid difference, 100 quid between the 17-inch and the 12-inch. Of course, a consideration and why people are, like, I always love the 12-inch barrels. Personally, that is what I would go for. But there's the little thing of the mini rifle weld shoot in Florida next year, where of course you can't have a 12-inch barrel because it's America and fuck short barrels, so you need at least a 16-inch to be compliant. But yeah, $13.50 for the 17-inch, or you've got the 12-inch at $12.50. Also, the great thing and why I always recommend Otto and Cotswold Classic Arms, you can build any package you want, right? As long as you've got the slots to put it on, Otto will build it. So if you wanted a 17-inch and a 12-inch and you wanted to be able to swap them in between, that's actually a really genuinely good justification for having to having an additional barrel slot. Well, in the UK competitions, I want to use a 12-inch barrel because the advantage of, it's lighter weight, it's more compact, this, that, and the other. And for those that say short barrels can't be accurate, go and speak to Tim at TACOM, because he's doing some pretty incredible stuff with actually very short barrels. But yeah, so 12-inch, more maneuverability, this, that, and the other. And but then you want to have that 17-inch in case you go and take it abroad and shoot in an international match. But $12.50, like, I think for the quality of gun and build that it is, that's like absolute bargain, really. And then you've got, which I believe, so that's, I think it's not necessarily, I don't think it's fair enough to say that this is the replacement of the lightweight. No, because it is a more sort of plainer Jane in a way. Like, the lightweight still has that quite battle arms look to it. This does look more mil spec. So I think the way he's looking at it is this is more of like the aero build that he offers, which I think he is still offering alongside this, but it is still a battle arms. And then there's the Authority Elite. This is the ambi as far as I can see. So you've got the bolt release there, which in competition can be very, very handy. And you've got the ambi mag release. So it's just changed name, but this is basically the battle arms ambi. And as you can see, this one, which has a 17-inch barrel, starts at 2,170, and I'm assuming there's a shorter barreled one, 12-inch. So you can get into sort of the into a battle arms ambi, as it used to be called, for just over £12,000 or just over £2,000, or just or £2,170 if you want a larger barrel. But it's all, you can see, it's just all in. It's all like enhanced. It's all battle arms. It is, just well, if you want. Oh. Have you spotted it yet? Have you spotted what I'm laughing at? At least somebody has confidence in us. Oh, pressure intensifies. Yes, so it will also be coming with the 32 round magload magazine. All improved. See, all just top of the range, top shit. The mags are so good that they've just become incredibly exclusive, only available from Cotswold Classic Arms. And then a quick update on that in a minute. And then now we've got the silence. So this was new. I think Otto actually kept this from me. It's got the monolithic stock which looks wise, yes. Like, I don't think comp wise, but if I was to just make a sexy as fuck gun, it would have that monolithic stock on there. And the monolithic stock was always the most expensive option. I remember him saying, I think the stock alone was something like, well, here it's like it's an extra, say, 200 quid, but yeah, I remember him saying it was like a 3 or 4, maybe even £500 option. So yeah, so what is UNEF threaded or integrated? So you can have it as a standard barrel or integrally suppressed, which would be, yeah, that this is what, if I was like, I literally want to go and set fire to a load of money to make a safe queen, this is the model I'd be going for. Integrally suppressed, monolithic stock, get me the tissues, and it's got the 12-inch barrel. That thing ain't ever going to the stage. And of course the premium 32 round mag load magazine. Love it. Gotta love that Otto. Like, is that, I think that is one of his builds, maybe? No, it's full bought. Well, it could be. Sexy as fuck. Yes, and you get a little suitcase pelly case for it, like 100%. Anyway, so yeah, this is available. If you want a copy of this, if you want to do naughty things to it that I might do later, you can either drop me a message on EnglishShooting, EnglishShooting@gmail.com, or contact us through Magload. We will hook you up with the Battle Arms Massive. So either info@magload.co.uk or Callum, CALL. I don't think I've ever corrected people on this, but it's 2 L's. You can't just give me the one. So Callum@magload.co.uk as well, and I'll happily ping this over. Well, I say I happily ping you over. I need to compress it because it's currently 50 megabytes because of all these sexy as fuck photos. But yeah, happily send it to anyone that wants to look at it a little bit more. The Penultimate Ninja. I'm surprised Battle Arms are allowed to trade under that name. It's illegal to market a knife as being suitable for combat or even killing zombies. I would have thought the same would apply to guns. But criminals can't just order this that we know of. No, firearms, they get a special exemption, right? Because they are firearms. Like, you're already making them jump through a number of hoops. Maybe we should introduce the zombie knife license. Then we could all have zombie knives. Mags update. Yes. So you know how last week I said we were this, and the latest iteration had come, and we were straight down the range. Well, I think it was the day afterwards he went down the range, and it was like I like almost didn't want to say it, but it was like we're just more confident than any time before that these were going to be the mags. This was going to be the final design. Yeah. I mean, they're working the best they've worked ever. Yeah. So yeah, no, just one more iteration. Yeah. Oh, seriously, this is going to cause us an early grave. Like, I don't know. Like, we genuinely, I'm like laughing and joking. That's literally all I can do, because otherwise I'd be crying. Genuinely, the cherry on top really was. So Connors went down to test the mags. While he was down there, he's had some stuff done to his Chiappa to make it more competition focused, and his Chiappa also didn't work. Everything's now sorted. Actually, we might even do a sort of a video around it. But he like came back. I heard the buzzer go on the door, and he walked in, and I heard bags being not thrown, but put down aggressively, and he just came straight upstairs with 3 mini rolls and a Pepsi in his hands. And it was like one of those, nope, not going to ask, nope, just going to at least let him get halfway through the second mini roll before I ask for a status update. Yes, the good news, we really don't, I was thinking of this, I didn't actually, I had this thought, but Connor's, I haven't spoken to Connors about it, but basically the mags are running flawlessly through a 1522. They are like 99% there with the battle. So this is where we've, it's like you keep going, and you like we've hit the goal now with the 1522. It's now getting them, like what we want, the goal is for them to work with the better mag adapter, as people already use the 1522. So it's just closing that gap, and it's, yeah, like bearing in mind it's Connor's doing the design on this. Like I just have to fend the emails. Is there an update on the, and like he's the one that is, he's got it on his shoulders at the moment. So yeah, no, I do not envy that position. But progress is being made. It is frustrating. We are frustrated on your guys' behalf, because we know you've entrusted us. You've given us your hard-earned money. We said it was going to be ready months ago, and it's not. And we are fully aware of that, and that's why Connors has resorted to single swallowing mini rolls. It's the only thing that's going to get him through. I might have to check him into a mini roll rehab facility after the mags are completed. It's not good. He has to have a mini roll to wake up in the morning, a mini roll, periodically throughout the day to get by, and a mini roll to even get to sleep. So, either the mags are going to kill him or the mini rolls are. But I'm there. I will keep him strong. I'll be a good friend. But yes, that's where we're at with it. So we've already spoken to, or Connors has spoken to the injection molders, the changes. He's identified changes that need. So it was take them down. They didn't. They weren't 100%. And I mean, when I say like they don't work, it's not that they don't work, right? They work. They work like a Chris Vector, right? No. Sorry. They work like, I don't know. I can't think of a good comparison. They're not as bad as the Chris Vector. Like, don't worry. Like imagine making a gun that magazines are more reliable than. But yeah, they're just not 100%. And you're talking about the occasional rounds. Like, you want to talk about pain, right? With the with the price of ammunition that it currently is, and the amount of ammunition we will put through 2 or 3 magazines to it's not like we're going down there putting 20 rounds through it and going, oh yeah, it's good, right? We're putting hundreds of rounds through, like each like we will have 2 or 3 of each variant or each iteration, and we will be putting a few hundred rounds through each of that magazine. So every time we have an iteration, we're shooting at least 1,000 rounds. Right, bearing in mind in a competition like an IPSC mini rifle competition, a level 3, like it might be 200-300 rounds you shoot, right? But that's what we're testing it for. It needs to perform faultlessly through that. Now, there's like it's 2-2 at the end of the day. Like even the best ammunition, the best magazines, and the best gun, you're going to have issues within 1,000 rounds. But we do not want it to be the mags, like, period. So it's getting after these. It's when I say it doesn't work, it's not at the 100%, and that's really, it's an on or off. It's not going to be it's good enough. It needs to be 100%. The bar's been set by the 1522 original magazines. It's a high bar. They need to be as good, if not better. Well, the design is already better, but in terms of reliability, the reliability needs to be as good, if not better. Otherwise, we won't release them. But they are working at 100% in a 1522. And what I had the idea of, I don't know, maybe this would be a good gauge. But I'm gonna regret saying this. I'm gonna no, not gonna do it. Like, it's tempting. I think there was already one person that we had said it to, where, they're working perfectly in the 1522, and he's like, well, that's all I want to run it in. And we're like, but then we get the issue of, like, let's just say we go, right, anybody with a 1522, if you're happy, we're saying that they are good to go with a 1522. If you're only ever going to use it in a 1522, we'll send out your order. And then what happens is somebody buys that 1522, or they sell the magazines to somebody else later down the line that's running them in a better mag, or they go and buy a better mag. Forget that we explicitly told them that it wouldn't work in anything. Well, it would need an adapter or something to work in everything else. Like, that's the other thing as well, and it is getting tempting. Like, the magazines work 100% in the 1522 as is, and with an adapter. And again, this is the the level of work that is taken each time with Connors is like, he's making various adapters and shims each time to test them in other guns. Obviously, we at the moment, the original 1522 magazine works in the 1522 and a better mag adapter, and our magazine should do the same. If they can do it, we can do it. But if we shim it or make some modifications to it on the fly, it will then work in the and I mean work 100% in the better mag adapter. So it's like, it's an easy way out. Like, we're at the point where, if we went sod it, you have to buy a small adapter, and it's hard to explain. It's not like a full fucking thing, but a small add-on for the better mag. Like, we could send the magazines, but even that's like admitting defeat. So yes, it's like, seriously, like, we can taste them. We're so close, and to get this close and start and go, fuck it, it's good enough. Like, why? Like, we're already a few months late. There's a couple of more weeks, right? Anyway, we do very much appreciate you guys' patience. I am actually quite astounded how patient you guys are being. And we just, like, honestly, like, you guys are like the best customers, because I think in any other industry, or maybe like any other any other industry, or like any other company, or whatever, what I'm trying to get to, like, I don't think there's many other. I think it probably hammers home how much faith that people have in us, and also how much you guys, you trust us. And I mean, that's it's huge, as a brand, as a company, for people to not be phoning us, shouting down the phone, is just really nice, because I think we deserve it. Like, I don't know, I'm trying to put my customer hat on. Would I be phoning if I'd have done the same? Would I be like, no, because I'm not that sort of person. Oh wait, it's because you're firearms owners and you're rational, reasonable people. Like, why am I so shocked? That's right, because general members of the public are dickheads, and firearms owners are pretty cool and chilled. There we go. I figured it out. I mean, so you guys are awesome, but you're sort of legally obligated to be awesome, because if you were phoning up and screening us down the phone, then you wouldn't be of fit character, have a firearms license. I I think that's all logical there. But anyway, yeah, I hope that's a good enough update for the mags. Again, we are doing everything we can. Somebody did comment, we are releasing quite a lot of new products at the moment. We had been holding off on them because we didn't want to be like, yeah, there's people still waiting for the pre-orders of the magazines and we're currently launching products. But you know, we're at this point, the design changes have been fed back to the injection molders. It's now with the injection molders. Like, it's not like we're sat there for the next, 2 weeks, like, right, got to wait for these magazines. Like, we're doing other stuff in the background. So yeah, new products. I mean, what went live, I think it was yesterday or today. I don't have the I took the photos today. There is something very cool that it's not necessarily coming out of nowhere, but yeah, there's another new addition coming to a line of products. You'll see very soon. But yes, we're still designing other stuff, we're still releasing other stuff, and unfortunately it's got to the point where it's like, well, we can't sit on the new stuff forever. We need to start putting it out there because people want them. But yeah, anyway, will I still get my mag before my FAC? Yes, yeah, there's absolutely no way you're getting your FAC before the magazines. We're not that far away, all right? We're weeks, not months. Just twisting the knife there just a little bit more. Christmas team special. The mags are nearly finished, guys. Santa should be sending them soon. I need a mini roll. I'm not going to say it. I am not going to say it. I am not going to say it. Buy a mag and get a free mini roll. Will mini rolls be replacing the Haribos going forward? No. Haribos are chosen for a very particular reason. They don't melt, or they don't melt at the same. They melt at a much higher heat than a mini roll would. Like, bearing in mind that we ship stuff all over the world, and I mean, like, far reaches of the world. And it's extraordinary to see. Like, obviously, like, Canada, US, Australia, New Zealand, most of Europe, or pretty much all of Europe. Like Ukraine, we're still shipping stuff out to Ukraine. We get a lot of emails about that. Are you guys still shipping here? Absolutely. Like, why wouldn't we be shipping to you guys? But it's stuff like Iceland. We got an order from Iceland today, and it was like, like, it's just and I had one. It was an African country, and it was like, what? Like, it was one of those, I didn't even know that was a place. So yeah, that's this. We need to make sure that our confectionery is not confectionery. Our little bonuses for ordering at Magload will stand up to that travel. Because it ends up sitting on a runway for half an hour, and you got mini rolls in there. Not gonna have the same shape. Also, they're not as Royal Mail proof. Like Haribo, you can throw about a bit. Like, we have had packages returned. Like, the box is fucked. The product packaging is fucked. Products bulletproof. But the Haribos just sat there, just like, and what? Do it again. And you do. I never reuse the same Haribo, but I do eat it. So here's the thing: if we ever have a package returned and we have to resend it, always fresh Haribo. But I get a little treat myself, and it's more research and development. How much Royal Mail can Haribo take? The worst one was actually South Africa. We had a return package that was pretty much to the day. It took a year to come back to us. Haribo was still fine. Anyway, English shooting, just don't follow the Lantac customer service model and you're onto a winner. I think anybody's onto a winner, just not doing that again. Can you imagine if Lantac released a magazine and they took as long as we have to finally release it? I say finally, we still haven't got there. You know, hello, yeah, where's my mag? Fuck you. Like that's what it would be. You know, hi, can I have an update on my mags? Can I have an update on my mags, please? Can I have an update on sucking my balls? Like, that's, you know, I should use some of these. Like, be careful. Like, seriously, if Daniel, if you phone Magload asking for an update about your magazines, I will give you the Lantac customer service treatment. Anybody else, fine, golden. I'll be sweet as pie, nice as pie. Anyway, could you send them out to the guys who own Smiths? I fucking know I'd regret saying it. I will cogitate on that and discuss it. We have a very long drive because it's the recoil, first level 3 recoil match up there. Recoil Scotland, their first level 3 practical shotgun match. But it's going to be a busy weekend. We are leaving. I need to work out what time we need to leave. We're leaving, I think, somewhere in the region of 4 o'clock in the morning tomorrow, driving up to Yevley for a level 2, a UK PSA LBP match. Connors is shooting the LBR. Yes, I know, Chiappa competition gun. There is literally, unless you want to go and spend £3,000-5,000, there's no competition, revolver competition gun alternative. It's, you literally got to work with what we've got here. But he's shooting that revolver, and then from Yevley we're driving up to Carlisle, staying overnight in Carlisle as a sort of a pit stop, then making our way up to Recoil for Saturday, hoping to film some of the Saturday competitors, and then we'll both be shooting it on the Sunday. So a very, very busy weekend overall, lots of travelling, so there'll be plenty of time to discuss that, and I see what we come to. I think it's pretty safe to say it's going to be a no. It just feels, I know you're probably, yeah, but I'm okay with it. Like, give them to me. They work in the 50%, send them to me. Like, it's just like, you know, I don't think it's, I'm not going to get your hopes up. I'm probably going to say it's a no, but it is something that we will discuss. I just think it's just an admission of defeat in some way. But anyway, I am going to head off because I currently on track for maybe 5 hours sleep if I'm lucky, and I still have to pack. So I should probably get off, but I hope you all have a fantastic week. As I've said, there is a proper video coming for the first time. I realise it's actually been almost 2 months since a dedicated video has gone out. My plan is the backlog to get cleared over autumn, so you're probably going to be sick of me by summer next year, because I've got so much backlog. Like, there are going to be weeks where I'm going to be doing like 2 videos in the stream. There's loads of shit coming, and I can now also review the Battle Arms Ambi, or the Battle Arms, I've forgotten what the new name is for it, Authority Elite, because it's very, very similar. But anyway, I will catch you guys later. Thank you all, everyone, for joining. Before you all go, make sure you hit that like button. It does make a huge difference, and also consider subscribing if you enjoyed the stream, because we do this every single week that I can make it, but pretty much every single week, and there is loads of new content coming on the channel, reviews, news, lore, all that. And as soon as I get my FAC, we can continue the Road to Your FAC series. But there we go, guys. Have a fantastic week. Thanks for joining. Really hope you've enjoyed it, and of course, as always, I hope to see you soon.